always last.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you, Rob Patz, for making that happen. And also, you can find us on the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net, and don't forget Facebook. YouTube, and they don't kick me off, and different,
It's not hard to find. It's not hard to find.
You can find us. We're all over the place. But thank you so much for watching. I have a very special friend with me right now. His name is Phillip Gilliand. He is with the American Fellowship of Cowboy Churches.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Always look so. I'm so excited always when you're going to be on the show, and I just like the growth of the Cowboy Church.
It is good.
It is, and we go to Cowboy Church as well. And it's kind of between Collinsville and Fort Payne, Lookout Mountain Cowboy Church, and I'm excited about the kids who go there.
Yeah.
And they sing Happy Trails.
Oh, you gotta love the Happy Trails part. And not only do they do all that, they will pray with you in a flash.
Mm-hmm.
I always think about, I can't remember if it was the 5th Sunday night or the dedication of the new building. I was over there and preached, and we had food and great fellowship, a great time. And when I started out the driveway, they were waiting on me and said, "Is there anything we can pray for you before you leave?" And I loved it. Mm-hmm. They'll do that in a parking lot in any town where they see somebody. They'll just go up and say, "Is there something we could pray for you?" Mm-hmm. Man, there is nothing that anybody can do any better for me than pray for me.
Awesome. And you do that for me, and I do that for you, and we're just friends. And again, that's the best thing a friend can do.
Yeah. I was saying that, last week on Friday, I carried Ann Foshee and Sandy Murphy to Santa Fe in Albertville. And
one of our sponsors, by the way, check it out.
Yes, that's why I wanted to say that. But, we prayed at lunch, and we held each other's hands and prayed. Because we're older, and we've all got a little health issue or two, and we've all got grandkids and things that we need to pray for. So that's what we do, is we pray together.
How important is it? You're one of my counsels, okay? So everybody should have someone that they really think a lot of, and they know that they got their hat on right. And so anytime Phil and I are going to make a decision about anything, I always counsel with you about it, and first thing he always does is, you listen to me, and then you go, all right, let's pray.
Yeah.
And so you always do that. I told you when I was going to go out on my own and have my own station and all that.
I remember.
But how important is it? I just like to have fellowship and counsel with you.
Oh, I think it's important for everybody, and put me number one on the list, because we need to know. The only way you know really there's two ways to know what God's will is for your life. Mm-hmm. One of those is prayer. One of them, actually there's three. Then God's not going to ask you to do something that's contrary to what is written in His book, the Bible. So you have, you want to know what God's will is. You pray about it. You read about it, and then you have the Holy Spirit to lead you. So if you're not going against God's will for your life, you're going in the wrong direction. What we all want to know is it God's will for me to do this, and we want Him to reveal that to us through the Holy Spirit, through His Word, and what's said. So everybody needs prayer. Everybody needs prayer all the time, and that's why Paul said, "Don't worry about anything, but pray about everything." And so that's what we need to do. And I don't take it lightly when people ask me to pray for them. One of the I hope to go see her this week. Miss Sheila Johnston from Cross Halo Cowboy Church has been in Birmingham for 2 months, and she was moved from ICU to a regular room yesterday. Listen, 4 weeks ago they tried their best to put her under hospice care and write her off. But her husband, her family, her church family, none of us believed that she was that death was meant for her. And I'm here to tell you, she's taking therapy now, and she's doing great. And and her husband Bob would tell you very quickly he believed that was because of prayer. And so prayer is important. Prayer is important.
I called him about my dog last week.
I remember. I remember.
And he's fine, by the way.
Well, good. Good.
Yeah, everything worked out.
Well, I think when Paul said, "Don't worry about anything, pray about everything," he meant everything.
I think I literally take it, everything.
Yeah, everything.
And everybody wants to make wise decisions. And then Phil and I are continuously going through Proverbs as a study.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I want to be a wise person. I don't want to make dumb decisions.
Well, it was written by what I think is the wisest man that ever lived, and it's all real straightforward. You don't have to read and think, what does this mean or that mean? It is easily understood what Solomon was writing in the Proverbs. Just it's so plain and easy to read. So I like to study it, and I've referred to it quite often. And I always say I believe he was the smartest man that ever lived.
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways I have is lean not into your own understanding.
Yes.
First of all, I don't trust my understanding.
Yeah.
I want wise counsel. I want somebody who has been there, done that, or knows how to pray like you do.
Well, I mean, I don't think I have much to offer, but I do. I
I wouldn't ask if I didn't think so. Phil feels the same way.
I appreciate it. I appreciate people that pray for me. I mean, I can tell you, nobody is beyond the need of prayer ever. And that's why I love it when your kids at your church offer to pray with you, because number one, they're sincere about it, and they have a heart, a spiritual heart for serving the Lord. They have great leadership in that church. So, it's a good thing. It's an important thing, and I'm so thankful that our churches have a healthy group of young people, because I can tell you, if you don't have young people in your church has got an expiration date on it. You've got to have young people in your church, and you need to be bringing them along. And in our church, and I know y'all do the same thing. We have 3 age groups. We have ladies that cook. Miss Marcia Sellers comes on Wednesday night. She does nothing but cook, but she does a phenomenal job. And we have other ladies, Miss Barbara and Jennifer, and others that come and teach our 3 age groups. And I'm always there. The reason why I'm there is because in case somebody has a question about their salvation. And the last several ones that we baptized, they came to know the Lord on a Wednesday night through a Wednesday night Bible study. That small group Bible study is something that we encourage through the AFCC. Both we have something called G2P that it is a process of putting together small groups and training leaders for small groups. And a lot of great churches today have accomplished their growth and reaching people in small groups, because out of small groups is where you get your church leaders. That's where the pastor finds out sometimes somebody that really has a prayer need that he may not know about, but yet that small group leader, it will come up and he may call me and say, hey, you need to remember so and so. I don't know if you know this, but they're having some serious. They're starting chemo next week, and but all of those things that we do, it has a purpose, and I love our church model, the way we do things, and I've told people over and over, it's the way to do church is taking away the barriers. We don't vote on many things. We do things by consensus. We don't have committees. We have teams. It's just a different mindset of doing church. We use the same Bible everybody else uses. We believe in the gospel of Jesus Christ like many churches believe. But the way we go about it is trying to take away the barriers and make people feel comfortable. And I love that. We had some people visiting Sunday, and they hung around and talked for a good little bit after church about, that was their first experience with Cowboy Church, and they were just mesmerized with You know, how I had a young couple that brought 2 little toddlers in, and I told them, I knew it was their first time. I introduced myself, and we talked for a minute, and I said, by the way, now, we're glad you're here. And we have a place you can take these back in. Our ladies take care of them if you want them to. But if you want to keep them in here, don't you think for a minute if they get fussy that they're going to bother me. We love the sound of children in our church, even if they're fussing
That
about
means
something.
life.
It shows life in the church. And I want you to be comfortable. Don't you worry. There's not anybody going to think anything about it. If your kids, little ones, gets fussy, nobody's going to turn and stare at you.
I've not seen it. We've got almost way over 200 people that go to ours. I never see anybody looking around.
No.
I never.
It's just.
And we sit in the back. I have asthma, so I could start coughing at any moment. So we sit in the back so I don't disturb anybody. But even at that, I don't think anybody would be disturbed.
I think that's the thing. When you go into church without barriers and in a relaxed atmosphere, you're not worried about what somebody's wearing, or you're not worried about whether you've got something on your boots that's going to track up the carpet. When you're not worried about those things.
And I did. I got into mud before we went.
Well,
we live in the country, so.
I mean, I had guys during deer season to shoot a deer on Sunday morning and gut it and come tromping into church with blood all over their boots. But I didn't care. I mean, we have concrete floors. It doesn't matter. You know, I think that's the way it's supposed to be, you know. We want people to come to church just like they went to Jesus in whatever shape they're in. He didn't tell people, you need to go clean up and then come talk to me. He took them, whether they were blind or crippled or disease-ridden, he took them and then he did a work.
You could actually have leprosy and he wouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah. Couldn't be much worse than that.
Nope, not at that time. It was really horrible. So he took them in whatever shape they were in, and that's the way we think we should do the same thing.
I think so too. Phillip, we have to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. You hang in there, okay? The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest MyPillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have MyPillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing MyPillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Okay, we are back. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you for helping us grow. We definitely appreciate that. You are the listeners, and you are the reason we're growing, and our sponsors absolutely love it. So thank you so much for being you. And also for the great guest we have. This is Phillip Gilliand. He is with the American Fellowship of Cowboy Churches. We've been talking about kids kids.
Oh yeah,
I can't stop.
Oh, I love it. I love it. We've got some young mothers in our church that got little infants, and I love it. I love it when we got young people and more young people. The more young people, the better, and because it gives us an opportunity. And I say to our listeners what I said to you. If you think the young people are all going to heck in a handbasket, you need to go and follow me around to cowboy churches and go with me to the FFA convention, and I'll show you the cream of the crop in young people, because those two groups will change your mind about young people, because we do have some awesome young people in our churches, and that group that we get to go and visit with at the FFA, that's another group, man. I tell you, there's nothing like farm kids. They're just farm
There's
kids.
not, and they know real life things that they know how to. I think what they're taught in some schools, and there's some fantastic teachers, and they're just kind of stuck with having to teach whatever. But my son used to go to Trinity Christian Academy, and then you guys have a fantastic Cornerstone Christian Academy too, and they're good schools. But the problem is the teachers are so busy disciplining the ones who are trying to show out. They don't have time to teach anymore.
Yeah,
and teaching life lessons. I mean,
well, you learn things on a farm that are just common sense things. I got yesterday's a perfect example of it. So we had a 4-wheeler with a dead battery on it. Jacob, my 13-year-old, took it off, and we ended up going to Tractors or Rural King and getting a battery. And when we got back home, I was busy doing something else, and by the time I got through doing what I was doing, he already had the battery back on the 4-wheeler. He's 13. He could change flat tires, and he can change the oil. Both of my boys, I mean, they grew up on a farm. They know how to do things. My older boys, I remember Jason, my next to the oldest, he was the one that would do those same things. Now Joey, he would try to get out of it if he could, but Joey's the one that he has a heart big as he is. But when they were growing up, Jason was the one that was always following around, looking to see how you done things, and he can do anything in the world. I mean, he has been, and together them two who own DC Equipment right here down the street from where we are, they have been extremely successful, and I'm very proud of them and my grandkids. And even though I talk a lot about the little boys, because God blessed me with these two young boys in my old age, and
don't say old age, because we're about the same age, Phillip.
Well, anyway, I'm at an age when most people don't have young boys, but it is a good thing, and we are delighted at what they learn at Cornerstone, and my wife teaches there. And
let me ask you a question. You're having very good success, and I had good success with Brad.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Should you be friends with your kids when they're growing up?
No, I don't think so. I think
I say so much of that, and the kids are just taking advantage of it.
I don't think it's wrong to want your kids to respect you. I mean, that's a biblical thing.
Yes, it is. Brad and I are friends now, but it was not until he was about 40.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, my two oldest boys and I are friends now too, and they've been so good to me. Both of them.
Structure.
Yeah, but when they're growing up, you got to be the parent. You cannot be their buddy. You got to be a parent. Sometimes you got to tell them something. You need to do this.
You got to do that tough love thing.
You
Man, I'd go somewhere and cry after I did it, but not in front of him. He didn't know
I can tell you, I've spanked them little boys and went to the barn and wept like a little girl myself. I think I'm beyond that now, and thank the Lord for it. I just hated it. I hated it. I didn't enjoy ever spanking a kid. Never. And I don't remember spanking Joey or Jason, the older one, when they were little, but once or twice. I probably never spanked Jason. Jason never got into anything.
But they know that it could happen.
Yeah. And John Patrick's the same way. He's more like Jason. He's just a good, he never got into anything. Now the young boys will tie up with each other every now and then, but they're just boys, and And I tell them over, and who knows, Joey said to me the other day, he said, I think Jason and I are closer than we've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in business together. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But you're right. You can't be their buddy and really be their parent. Sometimes
Because you got to say no.
and you got to be respected. You got to be respected.
Well, what about parents working together? I know Brad was about 14 when Phil and I got married. And so I had a cousin, and she wound up committing suicide later in life. She was about 14. But her parents would kind of use the kids, against each other. So one time she wanted to do something. She wasn't but 14. And the mother said no. Then she turned around at the dad. The dad heard her say no. She asked the dad, and he just looked with a smirk on his face and said yes. So before Phil and I got married, I said, before we tie the knot, I've got to ask you a question. I said, we got to be together on raising Brad.
Absolutely.
And I said, so I want to know that if I say he can't do something, whether you agree with it or not, that you're going to say no as well.
Yeah.
And he said, well, same token, if I say no, you're going to have to agree with me.
That's right.
So this only happened a couple of times. One time Brad wanted to do something, and I said no. And I didn't give an explanation or anything, so I was used to not having to explain myself. And that's another thing, parents explain too much. So then he turned right around and asked Phil. And then Phil said, what did your mother say?
Yeah.
He said, no. And he said, the answer, son, is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we tagged that, and I think that was real important.
You got to have each other's back. You have got to be on the same page. And it's sad to me that we have so many single parent kids being raised. There's so many kids that are being raised by one parent.
Mm-hmm.
So many of them that one of them is not
but you
even
can
a part
still
of their
do
life.
it.
You can.
You can. I mean, because you just have to. You have to say no, and they have to understand what no means.
Yeah.
I got the award to be the world's meanest mother one time.
Oh yeah.
I got a trophy for it. Now he agrees with it.
Yeah.
But he said, "You sure were a mean mother back then."
Well,
I said, "Well, you turned out pretty good."
yeah, I think I think that's what you want them to turn out good. If you really want them to turn out good, you'll look at what the Bible says about it, and you'll take that seriously.
I loved him more than I'd rather say no because I loved him that much than to say yes, and who knows what's going to happen.
That's right. That's right.
So that's about 2 minutes left in this segment. What would you want to tell the folks before we go?
Well, I'd say that everybody needs to have a live, growing spiritual relationship with the Lord. You need to understand who Jesus is, what He did on the cross for an old sinner like me, and you need to find a church to take your family to. If you don't believe it, go look at, listen to Jerry Clower's spiritual testimony about the value of being raised in a church. Listen to it, because he's spot on. You can't raise a kid in the world. The Bible tells us you can't be friends with God and be friends with the world. The Bible plainly says that. And if we're letting the world raise our kids, we're making a huge mistake. You need to raise your young'uns. You need to be the parent, and you need to be parent enough to take them to a good God-fearing church somewhere.
I think so too. And it's okay to be nosy.
Yes.
I was too. I did spot check cleaning.
Oh, and it's
sometimes.
more important because of social media today.
Oh my goodness, yes. Don't let them have social media yet.
That's
okay,
right.
just don't do that. Phillip, thank you so much for being on the
It's
show.
my pleasure.
It's always so much fun. And I learn a lot every time you're on the show. And thank you for watching The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. Find us on television, channel 182, Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and that website right there, podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. Thank you.